Do we get a Carnival BG? We do! The sounds of screaming children filled my ears, and the scent of fried dough was intoxicating. I grabbed Yuri's hand and began looking around. The rides, the vibe. Man, I haven't been here in ages.
Neither have I.
A man bumps into me, and I'm nearly knocked off my feet. I'm able to stabilize myself, but I suddenly notice how crowded it's becoming. Yuri is practically cutting off the blood flow to my hand. Hey, let's get away from the entrance. Oop. And clicked out. Dang it.
Good idea.
We walked further into the park, and the noise began to die down. Obviously, it was still loud, but everything had definitely calmed down significantly. Yuri's grip loosened. Seems she's still not a big fan of crowds. I squeezed her hand and gave her a kiss. But what would you like to do first?
Would you mind if we played some of the games? Like the ones with the fish or the ones with the rings and bottles? My father used to always do those with me, and they were a lot of fun.
I brought cash with me, right?
Plus, I hate the rides.
Damn! We won't do any rides then, I said, hiding my disappointment. But sure, we can do some games. I discreetly checked my wallet. We're good! Any catch your eye?
That one over there looks interesting.
She pointed to a nearby booth. Looked to be one where you had to shoot water guns at a target or something like that. Alright, let's do that one. We walked over and sat down at the booth. 300, bet you can't fill up that water balloon to the top before time runs out. The man at the booth pointed to a deflated water balloon above a target. If you can, you win a prize. How about it? This was a scam of some kind and I just knew it. But who cares? Sounds good, I said and handed him 1,000. Let's roll. 1,000 yen, I guess. That's like 10 bucks. Right. He handed me 400 yen back. Yeah, there you go, and pressed the button. It was only 600 yen. Shortly after, a buzzer went off. Start shooting. I held down the trigger and watched as my stream of water hit the bullseye, which caused the balloon to start filling. Hey, this isn't too bad. I looked over at Yuri's balloon. Gasp. Hers was, only around twice as big as mine. Suddenly her balloon popped. Both streams of water stopped, and I was left confused. We have a winner! Oh. What would you like, girlie? You can pick anything from the second shelf and down.
Oh, I'm not sure. How about that cute monkey?
Sure thing. The man pulled the monkey off the shelf and then handed it to Yuri. She gave it a hug and turned to me.
It reminds me of you.
Ah! The booth operator chuckled and gave me a pat on the shoulder. Yeah, girlfriend is alright, son. Thanks? Don't mention it. Anyway, I'm gonna have to ask you guys to please move unless you would like to play again. The greed in his eyes made me want to decline, but I turned back to Yuri.
We're good, thanks.
Then get out of here, you crazy kids. He shooed us off and we ran away cackling. We slowed to a stop back near the entrance. It was a less crowded area than before, but this was the big hub area. Seemed like the right move to make this our home base. What next? I asked and Yuri pointed to another game. We then walked over, hand in hand. Me with my hand on a beautiful one, and her with both hands on two separate monkeys. I chuckled at my own joke. The next game was basketball. You get the ball in a hoop and win a prize. Easy enough, but I'm surprised Yuri wanted to do it. She didn't strike me as the type to play any kind of sport. But as soon as she scored a hoop, I felt my jaw drop. Holy crap, those ones are rigged. They inflate the ball too much and they curve the rim. How the hell did you do that? I turned to her, my mind still blown.
Oh, it's just about your power and arc. It's really not that impressive.
Do it again?
Huh?
Please do it again. I handed the carny another 200 yen. She handed Yuri the ball, and she shrugged.
Alright, if it really makes you that impressed.
2 in a row! She scored another one. One more shot and you can pick the biggest prize. I handed off another 200 yen and Yuri looked to Yuri expectantly. Words,
alright.
And we have another winner, 3 in a row. Congratulations, purple-haired girl.
Yay.
Yuri, you did it. What are you gonna get? She put her finger to her chin.
How about you get me that big monkey?
God damn it. You got it. The one grabbed down the large monkey with a pinch claw stick thing.
Would you mind holding on to it for us, actually? I don't really want to walk around holding that big thing all day.
Sure can. Just make sure you don't forget it.
Sounds good.
We all nodded in unison. Shortly after, me and Yuri walked off to do something else. We played a few more games, but as nighttime neared, me and Yuri both felt hungry. After hearing her stomach rumble for a second time, I turned to face her. Hungry? She nodded, slightly embarrassed. Even at some goofy fun place like this, she still has to be ladylike. Phew, but I guess that's just one more thing to love about her. I smiled. Well, where do you want to go? It's all unhealthy, so just pick your poison, I chuckled. She looked around for a second until her eyes settled on something. She then pointed to a booth.
That looks pretty good.
Looking over, I inspected it. It seemed to sell a variety of different foods. Most notably, though, were pastrami sandwiches. Good choice.
Glad you think so.
Like a cartoon character smelling a pie, I focused all of my nasal muscles on smelling the pastrami. I just like all the weird deli meats, don't you? Even though we were a ways away, I could still smell every bit of it. Well, at least he hasn't mentioned head cheese yet. The intoxicating scent of meat was driving me crazy. I have got to eat that sandwich. We walked over and stood in line. It wasn't too bad lengthwise, surprisingly. When it was our turn, we ordered our food. I, of course, got the pastrami sandwich. Yuri ordered a cheeseburger with pastrami. Damn, that was probably the better choice. Oh well. I can always just steal a bite off of it. I smiled deviously. We walked over to a nearby bench and sat down. As we ate, the sun slowly set. The carnival was now fully in the vibe zone. Night carnivals are way better than day carnivals. As we ate, I noticed how bright the lights were on one of those cyclone rides. I was just wondering to myself, why the Ferris wheel isn't really lit up. You know, the ones where it spins around in a circle and the floor drops out, but you stay in the ride. I love those things, even though they make me sick. I sighed. Too bad Yuri doesn't like rides. I didn't blame her, and I wasn't upset with her, not at all. I'm kind of surprised she doesn't like any rides, though. But I was disappointed.
You wish to ride that ride, don't you?
I turned to Yuri. I mean, I know you don't want to, so...
Yes or no?
Yes.
Well, then go ahead.
She smiled. Are you sure? She nodded and gave me a kiss.
I want you to have fun, too. I can wait here.
Good enough for me. I gave her a kiss myself and ran off to enjoy myself. Yuri watched as I ran off to get in line. Finishing up her own food, she stood up to throw away the garbage. She grabbed the piece of paper she had sat on and held it in 2 fingers.
You should have gotten on the ride with him. At one point, you should face your fears.
Upon thinking this, she smiled confidently. She had the idea in her head. She threw the trash in a garbage can. As soon as he came back from that ride, they would go on a ride together. Not that one, though. Or that one. That one looks all right. Oh, but what if there are restrictions? Didn't that slip of paper have instructions on it? She should probably read those over again. She reached into her purse and began to dig around. Where is it? She put it in there, didn't she? Is it under the receipts? No. Oh, did she? She might have thrown it away. She turned around and walked back to the trash can. She peeked inside but didn't see any pieces of paper. She tried the one next to it. Still nothing. Maybe this just isn't the right trash can? She walked further away from that bench in search of another trash can. But either she kept missing them, or that was the last trash can in a 50-mile radius. Because after only a few minutes, she had gotten lost. She tried to find her way back, but none of the landmarks she had unconsciously remembered seemed to be taking her anywhere. She just kept walking in circles. She was losing her mind.
Where on earth am I?
Someone bumped into her.
It's way more crowded over here.
Another shoulder check. The baby started to cry. 2 kids ran next to her, laughing. What were they laughing at? Were they laughing at her? Another shoulder check. Is something ringing? The crowd feels heavier. The air feels hot.
I can't breathe.
She can't breathe. Another shoulder check. The child is still crying. Suddenly hit by a wave of nausea, she ran into a nearby portable toilet. Her head was pounding. It smelled terrible. Locking the door behind her, she fell to her knees and started to puke into the blue water. There goes the free meal. She breathed heavily and began to dry heave. Her body continued to expel its bile, despite there not being any bile left to expel. She coughed thrice and then fell on her bottom, feeling the nausea gradually fade. But her heart was still in overdrive, and her head still felt like a jackhammer was ramming into it. She needed to calm down.
Wait, not like that.
She shakily exhaled.
Never again like that.
Just in 3, out 4. She violently coughed and felt acid in the back of her throat.
Ah,
She felt her eyes gloss over.
no, don't cry, damn it.
She wiped her eyes. Her hands began to shake. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't breathe! She pulled out her phone.
What did he say?
If you ever get close, tell me. And if I'm not nearby, call me. Text me anything. Hell, email me if you have to. I want to be there for you. I don't want you to suffer alone anymore. No more suffering alone. She pulled out her phone and tried her best to use it, even if her hands were shaking like a blender full of rocks. She tapped my contact and put the phone to her ear. Okay, how is this narration from his perspective? Yet, whatever. I stepped off the ride, feeling intense nausea. I felt like I was going to puke my guts out, but it was so worth it. Those things are exhilarating. Though any amount of exhilaration is immediately dashed when you eat before getting on. I coughed, chuckled, and walked past the guy puking into a trash can. Poor guy. Suddenly my phone began to ring. Who the hell? I pulled up my phone and looked at the caller ID. Oh, it's Yuri. I accepted the call and put the phone to my ear. Hello?
Allie, I need... Please.
Wait, what? Yuri, what's wrong?
I got lost, and I'm in a portable toilet, and
Her voice cracked.
I just cannot breathe, and I feel so close
The line cut off. Yuri? Yuri, hey! Did she hang up? I looked at my phone screen. It was off. Raising an eyebrow, I pressed the power button. The no battery symbol felt like a punch in the gut. Yuri cried out.
He hung up.
She wailed, and her tears flowed freely.
He hung up.
She began to bawl. What now? What was she to do? Did he hate her that much? That he would hang up on her? Even though he...
Even though he said he would be there for... It was just a game to him, wasn't it? He was just stringing you along to mess with you.
He planned this from the very beginning. She breathed heavier.
No. It's not like that.
She breathed harder. Gosh, can you hear her heart just... Can it stop? She felt the urge to slam her fist into the ground. She couldn't control her breathing. She deeply inhaled and held her breath.
He hung up on you.
She let out a breath and shakily inhaled. Even after all that, she continued to bawl. But she had to stop. She couldn't take it anymore. She needed to calm down. She snapped her fingers nervously and reached into her purse. She dug around for anything sharp.
Just a small one.
She muttered to herself over and over and over again. Damn it, where is her blade? Where is her pocket knife? She flexed her fingers. She could only do a small one. Practically unnoticeable, really. Just a small slice, maybe only a little bit of bleeding. That's not so bad. After all, quitting cold turkey has never worked. Never. She kept digging around.
Son of a...
Her hands touched a matte black container. She remembered what was in it and quickly pulled it out. She popped off the container, grabbed the knife, and flipped open the blade. Hallie. It's almost poetic. Poetically mocking, that is. She exhaled deeply, trying to clear her head. It was shaky, and the hot tears still rolled down her cheeks.
Just a small one. He won't even know.
Even if he did, though, he probably wouldn't care. She winced. She pulled back her sleeve and touched the blade to a clean spot. It was near her wrist vein. She never, ever risked something like this. But it was just going to be a small cut. She was not going to be cutting any veins. She took a deep breath and applied pressure. But she couldn't go through with it. She couldn't. Was she making the right choice here? Even if it was a small cut, she was still...
He hung up. Maybe he's coming.
He
hung up. Yes, but...
Almost against her will, she applied more pressure. It was starting to sting.
It's just so unlike.
Something slammed into the portable toilet. Everything rocked and she jumped, scared out of her mind. She stood up quickly and dropped the knife, feeling immense pain. Liquid started to plunk down onto the plastic floor. Looking at the amount of blood, she felt herself get woozy again.
No, that wasn't supposed to...
She began to hyperventilate.
No.
She put her hand over her wrist and tried to apply pressure, but the bleeding wouldn't stop. It wouldn't stop. It wouldn't. This was bad. This was really bad. She held down a scream, turned around and grabbed the handle. She tried to open the door, but it wouldn't open. She pulled hard. It wasn't budging.
What the hell? Somebody...
She wiggled on the door handle. Her blood was getting all over it. She stained her sweater and her leggings.
Somebody please, the door!
She pulled as hard as she could.
Is it locked?
Shaking like an epileptic, even worse than before, she unlocked the plastic latch. She felt like an idiot, but this was not the time. She pulled. It still didn't budge. She was feeling woozy. She was going to pass out any minute from the blood. She pulled the door. Jiggled. Pulled. Jiggled. Was it a push door?
Son of a bitch!
She pushed against it in anger, and the door went flying open. She quickly lost her balance. She attempted to put her arms up to break her fall, but she felt too weak. She could only watch through her own eyes in abstract, empty horror as her head slammed into the concrete. Oof. Poor Yuri. Hey, lady, are you... She wanted to say something. She wanted to say anything, but she didn't even know where she was.
Snug. Snug.
She had been trying to swallow her own tongue. She couldn't move. She could not even fathom speaking. Everything was just a blur of pain. Yuri! Yuri! Damn it, where is she? She needs me. She's about to fucking cut. Again! And here I am, running around like a headless chicken. Yuri! Babe, where are you? I can't waste any time. I need to find her. Yuri! Where? I was wheezing, completely out of breath. Even as I slowly got more in shape, one thing that never changed was the fact that I was not a good runner. But I didn't care. Yuri needed the fucking flash right now. Quick, tie this around her elbow. It'll hold off the bleeding until the paramedic arrives. What? Is someone hurt? Slowing down, I took notice of a bunch of people crowded around a porta potty. Who got hurt? A small thing in the back of my mind said that it was Yuri, that it had been too late, but I didn't want to consider that. That was the worst case scenario. I need to check. I need to make sure. Hold her arm above her head. I slowly made my way up to the front of the crowd. Who got hurt? Upon seeing who it was, I felt my knees weaken. The person who had the big crowd, the injured person, the person bleeding out on the floor. That person was my girlfriend. I still consider that to be the worst day of my life. What was supposed to be a good day had turned into a horrible one. The bright light that filled my life had dimmed, and the days after the carnival felt like just one long nightmare. I held a piece of paper in my hands. It was stained with tears, but I could still read it. Hallie, I want you to have this. You seem to really like it, if your compliments were anything to go off of. So I hope you like it. Yuri. I clenched my fists. Damn it. I wiped my eyes and walked up to a headstone. I looked at the epitaph. I couldn't make it out, but I chalked that up to my eyes being clouded by tears. The name was clear as day, though. Yuri. Her last name wasn't written, and frankly that got me slightly pissed off. But I didn't have the energy to fuss. I set down some flowers and a copy of the poem that I wrote for the festival. I'm not sure if she liked it, but it was the thought that counted, right? I folded up Yuri's poem and put it in my pocket. Afterwards, I reached into my other pocket and pulled out a quarter. I set it on top of the stone, feeling the cold surface on my fingertips. The metal clink was the only sound heard for miles. It's a ghost town. I chuckled. I know. I'm an idiot. My smile faded. I just wish you could have had the courage to tell me that I was. Another tear. I'll miss you, babe. I kissed the air and closed my eyes. Everything went dark shortly after.